Voters across our area will decide several races today, and special elections will break down what's going to be on the ballot. And major damage at a gas station in Mulberry after a car crashed into the front of the building this morning. What we're learning about the crash.
Covering news where you live. This is 5 News at noon.
Well, thank you for joining us right now at noon. I'm Morgan Wrigley here with meteorologist Stephen Elmore, and the warmth that we've been talking about is making its way here.
Yeah.
It's pretty warm outside. I was kind of enjoying it, actually.
Yeah, it's really nice out there right now. I think today is really a nice day. Tomorrow, that's where you start to cross the lines, blur the lines between nice
Gets a little more controversial.
A little bit uncomfortable outside. Upper 80s, low 90s is what we're expecting for tomorrow. We're getting that little sneak peek of summer a little bit early, but today, absolutely gorgeous. You take a look outside, sure, we have a few puffy clouds here and there, but temperatures already climbing up into those upper 70s and low 80s across parts of the River Valley already this afternoon. Those daytime highs today going to land anywhere between those mid to upper 80s for most of us today. Absolutely gorgeous out there. Not much to complain about. Really, the rest of this week, we're going to be dealing with above average temperatures. A weak front comes in by the time we get to Thursday, and that's going to cool things off just a bit. If we go into a weekend that has some of those storm chances back into the forecast, we'll talk about all that coming up in just a bit. Northwest Arkansas, the rest of the day today looks like this. Daytime highs going to reach up into those low 80s. Plenty of sunshine along the way. Of course, a few puffy clouds here and there, but they're not going to hurt anybody. This evening looks absolutely gorgeous. Going to stay into those 80s for the most part. By the time we get late tonight, dropping down into those 70s. Still plenty of time to get outside and enjoy the plenty of sunshine, the nice weather that we have for today. Across the River Valley, we started off with lots of that fog out there this morning, and it took a while to burn that off. Not until around 10 a.m. is when it was finally done with. So now we're finally getting to enjoy that sunshine and daytime highs warming up very quickly. By the time we get later on this afternoon, we're going to reach all the way up into those upper 80s. I think a few places get close to 90 degrees today. Definitely by tomorrow, we'll have several places reaching up into those low 90s. By the time we get later on this evening, still gorgeous outside, anywhere between those upper 70s and low 80s for us. This warmth is going to continue not only for today, but again, our warmest day is Wednesday, and even Thursday after that weak front passes through. It's still going to be on the warmer side of things. We'll talk about those rain chances coming for this weekend and the storm chance that comes with it coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, police responded to a local gas station in Mulberry this morning after a car crashed into the building. Here's some video from the scene there. It happened at the Liberty Food and Gas Station on Highway 64 in Mulberry. According to the Mulberry mayor, Gary Baxter, a driver accidentally drove into the front of the building. The mayor tells us the driver of the car said they were at the four-way stop. It's right in front of the gas station. They meant to hit the brake, but instead hit the gas. This did happen while the store was open, but thankfully, Mayor tells us that no one was hurt. Well, today is special election day in Arkansas. Voters are casting ballots in several local races. We've been telling you about some of the most closely watched ones. One of the biggest is a proposal to end Fort Smith's sales tax through 2059, or extend Fort Smith's sales tax through 2059. The money would fund sewer improvements and pay off bonds. City leaders warn if it fails, higher sewer rates could follow. Meanwhile, in Washington County, voters will decide on millage increases for the Farmington, Greenland, and Prairie Grove school districts. There are also school board races in Greenland, Prairie Grove, and Springdale. And one of the items on there in Benton County will be Gravette voters deciding on a plan to change how fire dues are collected. Right now, the bills are mailed directly, but if this is approved, those dues would be added to property tax payments. The Gravette Fire Department serves over 3,000 residents, but says fewer than half currently pay dues.
Demand for emergency response comes before the financial part normally, so this is our way of trying to be proactive and stay ahead of that, and you know, we want to provide high quality emergency services to everyone when they call 911 and not just, you know, those that it's convenient for.
Again, polling locations will be open until 7:30 tonight, and those are only a few of the decisions on the ballot. You can find a breakdown of the issues in all the counties and information on voting sites that are open today on our website, 5newsonline.com. If you want us to send you a link to that, you can just text the word VOTE to that number right there on your screen, 479-785-5000. Just text us and we'll send you a link to our website. Well, Sebastian County Sheriff's Office sharing an update about how 2 deputies are doing after they were stabbed by an inmate Friday in the county jail. They identified Lieutenant Brandon McCaslin and Deputy Jacob Marr as the deputies who were hurt. Investigators say inmate John Cole attacked them with a shank. Lieutenant McCaslin was able to be treated and released on Friday. They say Deputy Marr is still hospitalized after suffering multiple stab wounds, but is on the road to recovery after surgery.
I can tell you one was directly to part of the heart, which was very scary for all of us.
Cole remains behind bars in the Sebastian County Jail. A full investigation is underway as officials determine what additional charges to bring against him for that incident. In Arkansas, state police are investigating after they say a man fired shots inside Mercy Hospital in Berryville. Troopers say William Rose was in custody receiving treatment when he stole a Carroll County deputy's gun over the weekend. No one was hurt, but multiple shots were fired. He now faces several new charges, including aggravated assault on a correctional employee and terroristic threatening. Well, in Franklin County, the Arkansas Department of Corrections now has a webpage dedicated to the controversial prison project. Despite pushback from the community, political leaders, and the Chickamauga Nation, state officials plan to move forward with the new 3,000-bed prison. Only $75 million of the estimated $825 million cost has been appropriated. The Chickamauga Nation is concerned the site may contain burial grounds with evidence continuing to surface. Senators John Bozeman, Tom Cotton, and Representative Steve Womack announced they have secured $141 million in new investments for the Ebbing Air National Guard base in Fort Smith. The base currently hosts the F-35 Foreign Military Sales Mission, and that funding will help with the construction of an academic training center, F-35 maintenance hangar, and squad operations, as well as the design of future projects on the base. Well, in national news, President Trump is visiting Saudi Arabia, the first stop on his Middle East trip. And there, he's focusing much of his attention on business. Natalie Brand has the details from the White House.
Saudi fighter jets escorted Air Force One as President Trump landed in Riyadh, where Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in a 21-gun salute greeted him. At the royal court, the U.S. delegation with cabinet secretaries and advisor Elon Musk greeted Saudi officials. Then President Trump and the Crown Prince sat down for a private meeting focused on investment in the U.S.
You're purchasing place, you're purchasing a lot of different things, and I appreciate it. And you said, if you think 600 billion, but the 600 billion knowing you will be $1 trillion.
The two governments signed agreements on a number of topics, including defense, energy, and mineral resources.
U.S. business leaders are also in Saudi Arabia representing finance and tech companies, including NVIDIA, BlackRock, and Uber. They're taking part in a U.S.-Saudi investment forum focused on topics such as AI, energy, and manufacturing.
From Saudi Arabia, the president heads to Qatar, where he faces questions over reports the royal family plans to donate a jumbo jet for his use. Democratic leaders are pushing back against what they call an unethical offer.
I am announcing a hold on all DOJ political nominees until we get more answers.
Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune also questioned the jet, saying there are lots of issues associated with the offer. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The clause in the Constitution restricts what gifts U.S. presidents can accept from foreign governments, requiring congressional consent. The plan is for the Qatari plane to eventually be turned over to the Trump Presidential Library. And President Trump signed an executive order to lower prescription drug costs, giving drug makers 30 days to cut prices. If no deal is reached, Medicare, which covers about 1 in 5 Americans, could tie payments for some drugs to the lowest prices in other developed countries. It's unclear how this would impact what the rest of the country pays for prescriptions. And a resentencing hearing for Eric and Lyle Menendez is set for today as they seek relief from life sentences for the 1989 murders of their parents in Beverly Hills. The Menendez brothers, imprisoned for 35 years, claimed their parents' murders followed years of abuse. Their attorneys argue new evidence supports their case for reduced sentences or parole. In the past week, the newly elected DA, Nathan Hochman, tried again to withdraw the petition for resentencing them for a second time. based on what he says are new facts about the brothers in 2 state parole risk assessment reports. The board recently labeled them a moderate risk of violence, partially due to a contraband cell phone incident. A judge denied the request, and today, during the hearing, the brothers could testify. We'll keep you updated on what happens. And 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner, the man facing charges for the mass shooting at Florida State University, killing 2 and injuring 6, is behind bars this morning. He was transported to the Leon County Detention Center after being discharged from the hospital. He'd been hospitalized in serious condition up until his release. That investigation remains ongoing.